Hi, folks. This is Don Meissner with the North Country Fishing Report. There's so many elements to fishing, and thankfully, it's not the same all the time. In fact, every day can be a new experience, but there's a few things that we should be aware of. There's a few general rules that I think it's important to know. Number one, most of the food that the fish eat are minnows or crabs or something that is a 1-year cycle. In other words, most of these things are born in the spring. And when they're born in the spring, they're small, just like animals or people. When they're first born, they're little bitty things. So the food that the fish can eat in the spring, once the ice goes out, is much smaller in size, most of it. And so if you use a lure or something you're trying to fool those fish with, you want it to try to be the same size as what they're eating. Now, as the year goes on, what survives becomes bigger and bigger. And by fall, what's left, the food is much bigger in size, maybe 2 or 3 times what it was in the spring. So what does this mean? It means that if you're aware of this, if you understand it, and it's really quite simple, but if you understand it, then the lures that you choose to use in the spring might be very, very different. In the fall, they might not be big enough. They might not be the right color. And let's think of color, because in the spring, the new beings that are coming into that water might be a different color than they will get as they get bigger and age. They may change in color. They may become more dreary or whatever. Now, what do I mean by that? The color red or orange, I think, are the 2 hottest colors you can use in the spring. And in one case, for example, is crayfish. Now, before gobies, I believe crayfish were probably the number 1 food for most of the fish that live in our area. And in the spring, crayfish tend to be a much brighter color. So if you use something red or orange, chances are it may be the best color you could choose that day. So, in summary, if you realize that the size changes throughout the year and the color changes throughout the year, and learn how to select the lures and buy them or whatever that you're going to use at those times, I think it'll give you a much better chance to be successful. Until next time, folks, this is Don Meissner with the North Country Fishing Report.